Scientists are exploring the relics of the World War II battle in the Gulf of Mexico.
You won't believe what's been hiding in the world's forgotten corners, from a pirate ship buried in the jungle with no crew or cargo, to a glowing mushroom that pulses like it's breathing, to a boiling river in the Amazon that kills on contact.
Wow, this is hot.
Yeah? Is it that hot?
This is the hottest river in the world. If you fall into it, you will die or get severe burns.
The Amazon is a colossal mystery, and it's one of the subjects that I explore in depth in America before.
Giant spiders, invisible frogs, ancient cities built by giants, and yes, even a humpback whale marooned in the rainforest. What's going on? Keep watching, because the jungle is done keeping secrets.
They're in Costa Rica. They're huge megalithic spheres. Actually look like uncompleted Olmec heads.
It almost seems like there was some kind of megalithic carving school who could create the most perfect sphere.
The biggest spider on the planet. Deep in the drenched forests of northern South America, something moves with a quiet confidence that makes the whole jungle feel tense. You do not hear it. You just notice a subtle twitch in the leaves, a soft ripple in the darkness, and then the shape of the Goliath bird-eater drifts into view. For a moment, it hardly seems real. The world's largest spider gliding across the forest floor like it owns every inch of it. Its legs stretch wider than a dinner plate, each one covered in thick hairs that catch the faint beams of light slipping through the canopy.
Absolutely beautiful. All right, I'm gonna put him down and gently pick him up so I can show you the underside and see if we can take a look at his fangs. But I wanna get him off of my arm for this.
Those hairs are not decoration. They can irritate skin, sting eyes, and push back anything foolish enough to get too close. And the fangs, long, curved, and strong enough to pierce through small animals before releasing venom that freezes them in place. It prefers the night. That is when it stalks with slow, thoughtful movements, waiting for frogs, insects, lizards, or any small creature to wander into its reach. There is a strange calm to the way it hunts, almost like it understands patience better than the jungle itself. When something threatens it, the spider rises tall and lets out a low hiss while sending clouds of irritating hairs drifting into the air. Females can survive for 25 years. Males disappear far sooner. They do not build classic webs. They use silk only to guard their eggs, tucked safely away from the world. Watching the Goliath bird-eater feels like stumbling onto a secret the rainforest never meant to share. And as it moves deeper into the shadows, you cannot help wondering what else is out there, waiting just beyond the light. The biggest flower in the world. In the thick, steaming jungles of Southeast Asia, something waits beneath the vines. Silent, hidden, patient. Most plants grow in the open, reaching for the sun, but the Rafflesia stays buried in the dark until the moment it is ready. And when it finally appears, it does so with a force that feels almost violent, pushing through roots and tangled growth like it has been fighting its way out. Then the bloom opens. Huge red petals spread outward, heavy and leathery, covered in pale spots that look almost otherworldly. It is wide enough to replace a dinner table, and yet it feels nothing like a flower. It feels alive in a strange, unsettling way. Before you even see it, the smell hits you, thick, rotten, sharp enough to make your stomach twist. The legendary scent of decay that tricks flies and beetles into believing they have found a corpse.
Told you.
It does. It smells like a dustbin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It smells like our bins.
They swarm over the giant petals, crawling across its surface as they unknowingly carry pollen from one hidden bloom to another. They help complete a cycle so old it predates most of the trees towering overhead. The Rafflesia never stays long. It hides for months, then erupts into the world for a brief, shocking moment before collapsing back into the shadows. What remains is nothing more than a memory, a fading odor, and the strange feeling that the jungle just revealed one of its best-kept secrets. Glass frogs. Found across the Central and South American jungle, these frogs' bones, intestines, and even their beating hearts can be seen through their translucent skin. Their backs glow a vivid green, perfectly matching the leaves they cling to. At first glance, they appear to vanish completely, blending flawlessly with the leaves they rest upon. But if you pause and look closer, their beating hearts come into view, a tiny rhythmic flash of life hidden in plain sight. But this isn't simple camouflage. The glass frog's see-through legs break up the outline of its body, blending it seamlessly with its surroundings. In the rainforest's ultimate game of hide-and-seek, the glass frog outwits predators with a vanishing act so flawless it almost feels like magic. Amazon floating forest. It's one of the strangest places on Earth, hidden deep inside the Amazon. Locals call them the floating forests, and yes, they're exactly what they sound like. Entire forests drifting on water as if the ground beneath them simply decided to disappear. At first glance, it looks peaceful. Sunlight on the water, gentle ripples. A few wooden houses are tied to tree roots so they don't literally float away. But don't be fooled. Living here is not for the faint-hearted. Every shadow in the water could be a caiman. Every patch of grass could be hiding a snake big enough to pull a grown man under. People live here, but only a handful, and every step they take could be their last. So how does a whole forest end up floating? The truth is stranger than the myth. Every year, the Amazon floods with staggering force. Water rises so high it swallows entire fields. What's left behind is a thick layer of dead grass, matted together like a giant sponge. Over time, tree seeds land on it, take root, and start growing, until suddenly there it is, a forest with no soil beneath it, drifting through the water like a living island. The boiling river. Deep in the Peruvian Amazon, there's a river that does not behave like a normal river at all. Locals call it Shanai Timpishka, the boiling river, and the name is not an exaggeration. You feel it before you even see it. The air turns humid and heavy, your skin gets warm, and then you hear it. A slow, angry hiss rolls through the trees like the jungle is breathing fire. Then the river appears through the mist. A wide stretch of water is bubbling, steaming, and churning as if something underneath is trying to break free. This thing can reach temperatures close to boiling. Not warm, not hot. Boiling. Scientists measured parts of it hitting above 90 degrees Celsius, the kind of heat that cooks anything that falls in. And trust me, the jungle proves it. Frogs, snakes, and even unlucky insects that slip into the current die almost instantly. Their bodies stiffen, float for a moment, then drift away like tiny sacrifices to whatever power runs the river. What makes it even more dramatic is how long it goes on. This is not a little hot spring hidden in a corner. The boiling river stretches for miles, slicing through the Amazon with water so clear and deadly it feels unreal. Cooler streams that flow into it don't mix quietly either. They hit the boiling water and explode into clouds of steam that rise like ghosts into the canopy. The rocks along the edge are cracked from heat. The leaves drip constantly because the air is so warm and wet it never dries. And every few minutes you hear a deep bubbling sound from somewhere beneath, as if the river has a heartbeat of its own. Scientists say the heat comes from geothermal vents deep below the earth. Locals believe it is sacred and alive. And honestly, standing there, watching a river boil in the middle of the rainforest, you feel like both explanations might be true. The Sentinelese tribe. Some places feel like they belong to another time, and North Sentinel Island is one of them. It sits quietly in the Indian Ocean, covered in thick forest, surrounded by clear water, and home to a group of people who have made one thing absolutely clear. They do not want visitors, not curious tourists, not researchers, not missionaries, no one. If a boat drifts too close, they appear at the tree line with bows in hand, calm but ready. It's not chaos or anger, it's more like a firm warning. This place is theirs, and they intend to keep it that way. And honestly, it makes sense. Every time outsiders tried to make contact in the past, it never ended well. Illness, misunderstandings, people are getting hurt, so now they protect their world by staying completely away from ours. Drones and helicopters are met with spears. Even the Indian government has drawn an invisible circle around the island and said, essentially, do not cross this line unless you want trouble. And that warning comes from history. There was a British explorer who kidnapped members of the tribe generations ago. Most of the captives died from disease before he even brought them back. There was a merchant vessel that crashed near the island. Survivors washed ashore and had to fight for their lives until rescue arrived. Some fishermen got too close and never returned. Even an escaped convict tried hiding there once. He did not make it. People debate why the Sentinelese react this way, but the answer seems simple. History taught them that outsiders bring disease and death. Their isolation isn't stubbornness, it's wisdom earned through painful experience.
Days of that American missionary who was murdered on a remote Indian island, the 26-year-old dying at the hands of natives who were armed with bows and arrows. Authorities are now trying to determine if there's a way to recover his body.
The fungi that glows in the dark. Deep in the damp, shadowed forests of Central and South America, something strange and otherworldly glows among the fallen leaves and rotting wood. Bioluminescent fungi, sometimes called foxfire or glow mushrooms, emit an eerie green light that seems almost alive. At first, it appears like tiny sparks scattered across the forest floor, but as your eyes adjust, the glow becomes more intense, pulsating gently, as if breathing. This isn't fireflies or human trickery. It is the fungi themselves producing light through a chemical reaction that involves luciferin, a compound that reacts with oxygen to create energy in the form of light. These fungi thrive in decaying wood, feeding off the nutrients of fallen trees while silently illuminating the darkness. Some species glow faintly, while others shine bright enough to be seen from a few meters away, casting ghostly shadows across the leaves. Scientists believe the glow serves a purpose. It may attract insects that help spread spores, ensuring the fungus survives and spreads. Local indigenous peoples once used these glowing fungi as natural lanterns, marking safe paths through pitch-black forests. Touch one, and the glow intensifies briefly, as if the fungus knows you're there. Walking through a patch of glowing fungi at night feels like stepping into an alien world. The soft greenish light reflects off the damp undergrowth, revealing textures and shapes that remain hidden in daylight. Eye. In the dead of the night, the rainforest of Madagascar takes on a different life. That's when the eye comes out. This primate is small but unforgettable, with huge, scary eyes that catch any silver of moonlight, and a thin, bony finger that you could do no wrong, calling it a little jungle vampire. The eye moves silently, hopping from branch to branch, its long tail balancing like a tightrope walker in the darkness. It taps on trees with its spindly finger, listening for hollow spots where insects hide beneath the bark. Then it strikes, extracting its prey with a precision that feels almost supernatural. Even the sounds it makes are unsettling. A low, clicking chittering, somewhere between a laugh and a warning, bounces off the trees, making you second-guess your every step.
Just using that finger to dig out.
For anyone walking the forest at night, the eye is a reminder that the jungle belongs to creatures older and stranger than we can imagine. And once you hear that tapping in the distance, you know you are being watched. Breathing forest. It was an ordinary day in a quiet forest in Quebec, Canada. A man was out exploring, enjoying the stillness, when he noticed something that made him stop in his tracks. The forest around him appeared to be alive in a way he had never seen before. The ground itself seemed to rise and fall, as if the forest was breathing. The ground itself seemed to rise and fall, as if the forest was breathing. With each movement, tree roots bulged through the soil. The entire forest floor lifted like a massive chest inhaling, held for a moment, then settled back down. For those first few seconds, he wondered if something enormous was waking beneath his feet. Confused and a little unnerved, he pulled out his phone and recorded the strange sight. Soon, he shared the clip online, hoping someone could explain what he was witnessing. As experts and curious viewers weighed in, the mystery began to unravel. Strong winds were sweeping through the area, and the trees in this forest had extensive root systems that reached deep and wide. Each gust pushed against the trees, lifting the roots and shifting the earth above them. The result was mesmerizing. The swaying trees made the ground ripple, rise, and fall in perfect rhythm. The forest seemed to inhale and exhale before his eyes. What had looked like something supernatural was actually a stunning natural phenomenon. Pyramids of the Amazon. The Amazon jungle is massive, so it's not surprising that people have lived there for countless generations. Even today, some native tribes fight fiercely to protect their ancestral lands from outsiders. But just how advanced were the civilizations that lived here long before? When scientists decided to map parts of the Bolivian jungle using satellites, what they found stunned them. Hidden beneath the thick canopy were structures that looked strikingly like pyramids. These pyramids aren't stone like those in Egypt. Scientists found them to be massive earthen mounds shaped with remarkable precision. Surrounding them are elaborate canal systems and raised agricultural fields stretching for kilometers. Estimates suggest tens of thousands lived here, thriving in an environment experts once thought couldn't support large civilizations. The jungle hid them so completely that until satellites looked through the canopy, we had no idea they existed. The discovery suggested that these ancient people may have been as sophisticated as the Maya or the Aztecs, civilizations that would rise centuries later. No one knows exactly what these structures mean yet. The jungle still guards its secrets jealously. Ancient city of Kacol. In the deep forests of Belize, researchers walked through the quiet undergrowth and stopped at a clearing where the ruins of Kacol rose from the earth. The city did not look like something recently found. It looked ancient, confident, and strangely aware of the people studying it. For a long moment, no one spoke. The stone towers seemed to watch them back. Kacol had once been a major Maya center. Historians said it played an important political role, yet its location had slipped out of human memory after the Maya decline. When explorers stumbled upon it in 1937, the discovery stunned everyone. The city was larger than any settlement standing in Belize today, as if the Maya had decided that scale itself was a form of power. Farther south in Ecuador, another site created a different kind of silence. Locals guided researchers to a cluster of enormous stone structures that looked nothing like the typical ruins found in the region. Scattered nearby were tools so large that some villagers believed they belonged to giants, though most experts believe these were a mix of genuine indigenous items and local crafts, not evidence of ancient giants. They spoke of structures that rose higher than the tree canopy and a steep pyramid that reached nearly 80 meters into the sky. Standing at the base of it, the idea of giants no longer felt like a joke. Eye of the Earth. Far below the surface, hidden in the foothills of Croatia's Dinara Mountains, lies an underwater cave system so mysterious it has earned the name Eye of the Earth. The Cetina River Spring feeds this labyrinth, its water striking with a two-tone color that seems almost unreal, shifting from deep blues to emerald greens as it twists through the stone corridors. Thanks to a Slovakian photographer, we can glimpse its intricate passages without diving in ourselves, though real explorers venture far deeper. Some divers have reached 50 meters, others have pushed as far as 70, threading through narrow channels where light barely penetrates. Every frame of footage captures a world that feels alien, yet alive, where shadows play on the rocky walls and the water moves like liquid glass. The river itself stretches for roughly 65 miles before it finally pours into the Adriatic Sea. But within the cave system, time seems suspended. Walking or swimming through it feels like stepping into a sacred space, and it's easy to understand why locals chose to build Croatia's oldest Orthodox church nearby. There is something spiritual about these caves, a quiet power that whispers through the currents, making anyone who witnesses them feel small, awed, and utterly enchanted. Subscriber's pick. In Panama's dense jungle, stories circulate about an impossible discovery. Explorers claim to have found a full-sized ship from the golden age of piracy, sitting pristine miles inland. The accounts describe a vessel completely intact but utterly empty. No cargo, no crew, no signs of struggle or decay. Some theorize a catastrophic storm surge pushed it inland during a hurricane. Others suggest it was deliberately hidden and abandoned. The mystery deepens because no official expedition has confirmed the find, yet the stories persist with remarkably consistent details. True discovery or elaborate legend? The jungle keeps its secrets, and this ship, if it exists, remains one of them. Jaguari. Deep in the South American jungle, something watches. The Jaguari moves like a shadow, slipping silently between trees, its sleek body almost impossible to track. Few have seen it and lived to speak of it. Locals whisper about it like a ghost, a predator that feels more like a lurking nightmare than an animal. Its body is long and thin, built for stealth, with short fur that blends perfectly into the dark forest floor. Its eyes glow faintly in low light, piercing through the shadows, cold and unblinking. Its face is small, but the sharpness of its gaze makes you feel like it can see straight into your soul. The way it moves is unsettling, sometimes slinking low and silent, other times exploding into sudden bursts of terrifying speed, vanishing into the brush before you can even react. The Jaguari is a solitary hunter, stalking birds, reptiles, and small mammals. But when humans cross its path, it doesn't hesitate. Hunters report a strange, almost predatory intelligence in its movements, like it knows exactly how to corner you before disappearing. Those who've glimpsed it say the worst part isn't the speed or claws, but the silence it leaves behind. A rustle in the leaves, a shadow that shouldn't be there, and then nothing. Just an eerie, hollow quiet that presses down on your chest. The Galaxy Ghost Ship. Some mysteries of the universe are impossible to ignore, and the Galaxy Ghost Ship can't be left out. This massive spacecraft drifts silently, untethered and uncharted. It does not appear on any official logs, yet those who claim to have seen it describe the same unsettling details. The ship is huge, designed for hundreds, but entirely empty. Instruments record power surges as if something or someone still runs it, yet no life signs exist. The strangest part is how operational it seems, like it could move at any moment, yet it floats undisturbed through space. No collisions, no debris, no clue to its origin or purpose. The Galaxy Ghost Ship feels alive. Astronauts report flickering lights inside, endless corridors that seem to stretch impossibly long, and shadows that vanish when looked at directly. Sensors fail, compasses spin, and communications cut out near it. Some suggest it is a remnant of a lost mission. Others whisper about alien technology, or even a haunted vessel drifting between galaxies. No one knows where it came from or where it is going. All that is certain is that it exists, silently watching, holding secrets that may never be revealed. Every sighting raises more questions than answers, leaving anyone who encounters it with the same chilling thought: what if the ship is not as empty as it appears? El Mirador. The jungles have a way of reclaiming everything in their path, and El Mirador is a perfect example. Once, this was a thriving capital of the great Mayan Empire, a place of bustling life and power. At its peak, it held roughly 200,000 people, part of a vast network of cities that together housed over 1 million. The Mayans clearly knew how to build civilizations meant to endure. But then, just as suddenly as it rose, El Mirador vanished. The people disappeared, leaving no trace, and the jungle moved in. Vines twisted over stone plazas, trees erupted through streets, and the rainforest slowly swallowed the city, erasing its existence. Photographs and videos barely capture the scale of it, the way nature's green fingers stretch over temples and pyramids, consuming them inch by inch. Finding El Mirador felt like uncovering Pompeii hidden beneath layers of time. Even now, explorers continue to stumble upon lost cities like this in jungles and forests around the world. Humpback whale. Seeing a humpback whale in the jungle is the kind of thing that makes you stop, blink twice, and wonder if you need more sleep. These animals belong in the open ocean, not tucked between trees and vines. And remember, humpbacks are not small in any universe. Even a young one weighs several tons. So when people found a dead juvenile whale deep inside an island near the mouth of the Amazon River in Brazil, everyone had the same reaction. How in the world did this thing get here? It looked impossible. The whale was far from the shoreline, lying on solid ground like it had been dropped there. But the explanation had nothing to do with the jungle and everything to do with the water. That island is famous for its wild tides. During the time the whale washed in, the tides were rising nearly 4 whole meters. When the water gets that high, it doesn't just lap at the shore. It moves inland, floods everything, then slips back out before anyone comes by. By the time the tide lowered again, the whale was stranded on dry, untouched ground. Experts think the poor whale had already died at sea. No one knows why. The tide simply grabbed the body and carried it inland with enough force to place it in the middle of the island. And once the ocean decides to move something, even a creature the size of a truck cannot argue with the current. Costa Rican stone balls. If you ever wander through Costa Rica, you might spot something that makes you stop mid-stride. Huge stone balls, perfectly rounded, scattered across fields, forests, and even tucked behind old buildings like someone forgot to clean up after a giant's game of marbles. There are more than 300 of them, and the wild part is that no one can agree on why they exist. Locals call them bolas de piedra, and they're believed to come from a pre-Columbian culture that thrived centuries before Europeans ever set foot there. These people carved stone the way some of us carve pumpkins, but making spheres this perfect was no small task. Some are the size of tennis balls, others stretch nearly 2 meters across. And they are flawless. Not almost round, not close enough. Perfect. That is where the mystery gets fun. If you are going to shape rocks this big, there has to be a reason. These spheres are made from different materials too. Some are limestone, others are sandstone. A few look like they were hauled from quarries miles away. Picture the effort it would take to carve them smooth, transport them, and then place them deliberately across the land. Were they markers, symbols, guardians, a giant calendar? Or were they simply impressive works of art? Everyone has a theory. No one has a confirmed answer. So you stand there looking at them, trying to read the intentions of people who lived more than 1,000 years ago, and suddenly, these silent stones feel less like decorations and more like a message someone left behind. Sigiriya. If you ever find yourself in Sri Lanka, there is a moment that sneaks up on you. You look up, and there it is, a massive rock fortress rising straight out of the jungle. Sigiriya. It looks almost unreal, like someone lifted it out of a fantasy novel and dropped it in the middle of the forest. The top is flattened, carved, shaped, and crowned with the ruins of an ancient kingdom. And the story behind it is just as dramatic. More than 1,500 years ago, a king named Kashyapa chose this rock as his safe haven. He built palaces on the summit, carved giant lion paws at the entrance, and designed gardens so advanced that engineers today still admire the layout. Every pathway, every staircase, every pool was created with purpose. It was luxury mixed with defense, beauty mixed with paranoia. But what grabs you most is the climb. As you ascend the narrow metal steps, the wind cuts through the silence. Below you, the jungle stretches endlessly. Above you, the sky feels close enough to touch. And when you finally reach the top, you cannot help but imagine the world as Kashyapa saw it. A throne in the clouds, a kingdom carved into stone, a legacy no jungle could swallow. Bullet ants. The bullet ant earned its name from what its sting feels like, being shot. Entomologists rate it as the world's most painful insect sting, describing it as pure, intense, brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a nail in your heel. Indigenous Amazonian tribes use them in initiation rites. Young men must wear gloves woven with hundreds of these ants, stingers facing inward, for 10 minutes while dancing. The ants are glossy reddish-black, nearly an inch long, with powerful mandibles. They're not aggressive, unprovoked, but in the jungle, you don't always see them before you step too close. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.